When Apple Intelligence rolls out later this year, it's going to be unlike any other product Apple released into the world, because Apple has to do something it never does. It has to give up control. This is generative AI, and Apple can control every aspect of your experience, and the words or images the machine spits out, you might get results that are awesome, and there are times it might not hit the mark or be exactly what you wanted. And Apple knows this. It said so in research it published. I don't think I've ever been so hyped up to try out a new Apple product before because of how much is unknown here. What can I say? Chaos is kind of fun. But not everything is a mystery. This week I got a sneak peek at Apple Intelligence in action, and I learned a few things that were not in the big keynote presentation. So this week's One More Thing is all the little things that you didn't know before, and why Apple letting go of some control might be kind of cool. I'm Bridget Carey, and this is One More Thing. Apple Intelligence is not something you can try just yet. There's a developer beta of iOS 18 that's out now, but that does not have any AI in it. Apple Intelligence is expected to roll out as a beta product in the fall, and not every feature is going to be released right away. Now, since it's beta, things obviously can change from the state that I saw it in, but what I learned at least gives us some sense in how it could shape out. And I think Apple's approach is to give us some freedom, but also it's putting in a number of protections. Let's start with a feature that I think users will all jump to first: the ability to make crazy cartoon images. There's Genmoji, where you can type a description of an emoji that you want to see, and poof, it becomes reality. It'll serve you up a few choices. You pick the one you like best, and you can send it in the body of your message, or send it as a sticker, or as one of those tap back reactions. There's also Image Playground, and you're going to find this tool inside of some apps like Notes, but it also has its own dedicated app. It pulls in suggestions on what image you might want to make based on the context of the conversations you might be having. But there will be a number of inputs that you can feed into the machine to tell it what kind of image you want to create. In the examples that Apple gives, you often see 3 descriptive words used to make an image, but it could be possible to give it more than 3. You can pick from some general categories or get a little specific about what you want in the image. Like if you want to have a landmark like the Golden Gate Bridge, or maybe even the Statue of Liberty. And what about people? Well, you can model an image off a real person as long as they are an established person that is in your library. And if you don't have that person in your photos library, you can generate a generic character like you would a video game avatar. You could just pick gender and skin tone and hair. So what does all that tell me? Well, there could be something of an obstacle that's in the design done on purpose, so you don't just easily troll someone who isn't an established person in your photo library. Also, let's look at all the examples Apple gives of these images. They are all cartoony, so it's not that serious. And it's not like you're faking reality or fooling people here. And every example Apple showed is kind of happy, but you will be able to express other emotions. You can make sad or mad ones, and I'm sure many of you will be immature and try to make some terrible images because that's just what humans do. But Apple thought about that. There will be filters to protect from making certain images that could be harmful, like, for example, nudity. It's a line certainly Apple will have to walk between giving people creative freedom and, well, letting people be horrible. Yeah, there's that whole experience control issue again. Now, I don't think Apple can keep people from using it in weird ways, even with filters to protect folks, because life finds a way. The eggplant emoji became the eggplant emoji because there was no other option to convey what people wanted to convey. And people will make meanings out of anything. Take, for example, on TikTok. If you say the word gun, your video is going to get censored. So what do people say instead? Well, they refer to it as their mouse-catool. Language is funny that way. People are going to make their own meanings out of certain images, and we'll just have to see where all this new AI stuff takes us and what we can create. There is some image editing that you can do that is not so cartoony, and it might fool someone. You can use Apple's AI to edit a person out of a photo, but metadata could indicate that a cleanup tool was used to doctor the photo. It is going to be an interesting time to see how people use these tools to change reality, and different groups will have to share their best practices as we walk this new terrain. Apple published some research about its generative AI models. We have heard Apple talk already about the importance of privacy, but this document also put a big emphasis on responsible AI development. I find it worth noting that Apple is working to make sure that AI words or images created don't perpetuate stereotypes and systemic biases, and that there's care to pay attention to how the tool may be misused or lead to potential harm. Once again, this is all beta, so Apple is going to be wanting feedback. In Apple's research, it said it scored its AI results on a human satisfaction score, and it outdid other models for being more helpful and safer. Apple says its AI also handled adversarial prompts better than other models. But it doesn't mean it got a perfect score. In the research, Apple wrote, quote, "Considering the broad capabilities of large language models, we understand the limitation of our safety benchmark. We are actively conducting both manual and automatic red teaming with internal and external teams to continue evaluating our model's safety." Apple may not have total control of what the AI generates every time, but this tells me Apple knows how important it is to keep getting feedback to adjust. It seems Apple's given you a lot of control on the kind of AI interactions you have if you want to have them. If you want Apple to help you with improving your text, well, writing tools can help you structure sentences better. This goes beyond pointing out spelling and grammar errors, but suggestions on tone and how to word your message stronger. Now, these AI writing tools can be called upon in any place that you would write text. In general, you're going to know if an AI tool is being used if you see the glowing rainbow lights. It's also how Siri changes with AI smarts. It becomes this colorful glow around the whole border of the phone. Now, as we've gone over before, Apple Intelligence makes suggestions by gathering info from your personal account, your photos, your text, your calendar, your emails. It's not pulling from the web, but if you have a question that requires some outside knowledge, then Apple gives you the option to just ask your question to ChatGPT 4.0. Not everyone might want to do that, and you don't have to. During setup, you can decide if you want to have Siri offer ChatGPT 4.0 as an option when it doesn't know the answer. Conversely, if you do like using OpenAI's system, well, you can take it further and connect your ChatGPT account to have a richer history with your ChatGPT results. Apple is Apple because it's very protective of its experience. Apple has to approve the apps inside the App Store. When you watch Apple TV Plus, there's a certain high standard of show that it allows on the service. And I mean, just look at the iPhone. It took 18 years for Apple to give you control of where you want to put your icons on the screen. Yeah, that's a feature coming to iOS 18 later this year. So it's surprising when you see Apple embrace a little of what they might not have control over with AI results. But overall, I'm feeling positive in how Apple is approaching these big questions many of us had with generative AI, and I'm glad the beta will be a slow rollout, because when you put this kind of power in the hands of iPhone users, it's probably best to take it slow. It keeps things more controlled. Let me know in the comments if you have more questions about Apple Intelligence, and tell me, what's the first thing you're going to send someone with Image Playground? Actually, never mind. Maybe I don't want to know. I'll catch you next Friday with one more thing in the world of Apple. Thanks for watching.